Not too sure what. Coming out of that.
I don't think so.
That's your back. Yeah.
Don't tell me things like that.
That's not your expert though, is it?
No. That's the 4 class.
Do you like that?
4 class, this one.
I don't like that pattern.
Great, isn't it?
Yeah.
These are I've got me putting my snug pack, you know, my lightweight one in now.
Yeah.
Whether I actually sleep in it, I might just test the Swagman out just to see what it's like on its own.
I bought myself a couple months ago now, the US one is the snug pack fleece liner.
Oh, that's pucker, that is.
Yeah, I bought one.
Oh, that really is nice.
Yeah. Had that down in my army surplus plate.
see there, I've got the set up my 2 ponchos. That'll do. So for tonight's dinner, I've got 2 steak and kidney suet pies and some mash, pie and mash. You know what I forgot though, gravy. No worries. Look at them. Lovely jubbly. So we've got mash, pies, pies, mash, pies, mash. Oh, that tastes good. All that's missing is a bit of liquor, I think. A bit of pie mash and liquor. Oh, that's lovely. embers. Oh, we've got some ever so slightly. Oh yeah, we're all right. Loads. So I was going to use one of these this morning and a lighter, but I thought to myself, why do that? Why question myself, why do it? So I thought what I'd do is I would use the embers that were from the previous day's fire, and I will speak to it by breathing my oxygen, my air, sharing it with the heat from the embers of the wood and such like, and then we'll bring the fire back to life, give it some energy, and we'll see how we get on. I've made a few feather sticks. They're not the greatest. That one's more like a feather sliver, but them two ain't too bad, from ash, and I'm going to use these as part of my process along with some other wood to bring the fire back to life. So we'll see how we get on. Fire, awaken, come to me. Don't go back to sleep. I had someone ask about the bacon that I use, and it's basically just a free range unsmoked back bacon. It's from a company called Waitrose here in the UK, for your interest. Let's get that sizzle on. What I've done is I've a bit of ash and I've split it, so I'm going to sort of use the thinner part to make some sort of chopping board, and then this bit I'm going to use to make a small table. So got me bit I'm going to use as a small table, and then walking around here and I found some willow that had already been cut down, so I thought I'll cut them into size just to make a sort of small sort of table. Keep my can of beer off the floor. And again it gets blowy. Auger. What I'll do now is put my 4 holes into the base, and then bearing in mind I think that's only about a 16-18 auger, so then what I'm going to have to do then is obviously point these up a little bit to tap into the holes, but we're not using it to sit on or anything like that, using it just for putting a cup of tea on or a can of beer or a bit of food or something like that. Right, so me and Dave were just standing here talking, because obviously the wind's blowing in and out, and there's a sycamore there we're talking about chopping down next time we come over here. And literally as we're standing here, look what happens. Straight through me poncho. I mean,
Can't believe
if
it.
I was in bed, it wouldn't have hit me.
Well, yeah, you were a foot away, less than a foot away from that.
Yeah, but it would have shit the life out of me, wouldn't it?
Of course it would have done, especially you've had an experience like it before.
Oh my god. I've got to get a new poncho now. I don't believe it.
It just went, we should stay in it, all of a sudden ran straight in.
Oh well, there it is. Not 5 minutes have gone by since that stick has gone through my branch, went through my poncho, and now there's not a blow of wind at all.
Plus we had rain as well, rain come down.
Crazy, absolutely crazy. Looks like I'll be on the market for a new poncho now. Then. Oh.
I need to get the mallet over, mate.
Yeah, I will. Oh. Well, you know,
Nice working little table.
nice working little table, look. Tripod. Job jobbed. Right, my ferro rod has developed a ramp, you know, where you keep using it in the same area, and obviously the scraper is catching on it every now and again now. So what I've done is I've got a file for a multi-tool, and what I'm going to do is give it a rub down just to take that ramping out. Better. Right. Being that we've got a load of punk wood, I suppose it'd be rude not to, wouldn't it? Let's char some. Punk wood. Right, just got the tin now, just going to put it on the embers. And then we just let that do its thing. So already you can see the smoke, the gases escaping from the wood. And that'll take a little while for it to, for that process to clear.
That ash is just down in the middle, so no, it's just that well. That bit.
Beauty of a feather stick, I suppose. Right, let's have a look at our charred punk wood, eh? Put a spark into that. It should work the same way as normal charcoal. Yeah, look at that. Superb. Straight away. Tell you what, let's just use the excess shavings from the feather stick that I made, and formed so well. Unfortunately, you need to have a fire to make this stuff. What amazes me, the intensity of it, the heat. There you go. Such a good method. So you kind of get the picture. And obviously we ain't got any holes in this tin over apart from the big one at the top, so air circulation is going to be a little bit more restricted. But as you can see, charred punkwood. If you want to try that one. Got any charred punkwood, so I'm going to tap a bit off there. I need a gentle swagger just to take that off there. Nothing jubbly. Just fall down. Here, let's put one more bit in there, eh? This bit I'll leave in the tin, so I'll take it, so I'll leave it in there, and then that'll be handy for my next sort of fire lighting method. There, can I get another bit in there? I'll take a bit from the floor and put it in there as well. All the merrier. Out collecting some wood, found this bit of birch. Now as you can see, obviously the inside is starting to go punky, and the bark obviously on the outside, because of the oils and everything that's inside that, obviously it's going to take the longest to deteriorate. That's why it's quite favourable for its properties for making containers and such like. So let's see if we can do anything. We can try and rescue a bit of this birch bark, even though it's quite thin. Score the bark there. Oh. Right, what I need to do now is just try and remove the outer. That'll make good punkwood as well. I'm not going to craft anything out of this bit of bark. It looks okay. I'm going to take them home, probably muck around, because it will need soaking in hot water to make it more pliable, to make it into containers and such like. But that's as far as I'm going to go with it, because the last thing I want to do is obviously split it and break it. Obviously when you put it in hot water, it will obviously makes it a hell of a lot more pliable. So I could almost, even now, I could almost cut that off, stitch it with a piece of a bit of tarp line, bit of bank line or something like that in my kit, and I could make a little container. I'll tell you what, let's do it, shall we? Let's do it. Right, I'll have to obviously heat up some hot water. Heat up some water to make it hot, so I can put this in there. So I'll come back to you in a minute. What I'm doing at the moment is just scraping the inside of it. I don't want to sort of, as I say, I don't want to bend it too much in case it breaks. Right, let's try and see if I can just sort of cut it as is. Some sort of shape on it. It's still a bit where that bark's on the inside. Oh, it's coming off though. slight crack there. Alright, okay, well I'm going to leave it. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to heat up some water and then we'll plonk that in there. Right, so plonk it in the pot, some water. Okay. Stick that on the fire now. Let it heat up. Right, so what I've done now is I've just over there's a piece of fallen seasoned ash. So what I'm going to do, obviously for the base to put in the bottom of the pot and the top, I've cut out 2 discs. And what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to cut off the bark and wait for the hot water in the pot with the bark to heat up, obviously to make it more pliable. Right, so there's the first one, a slightly thicker one I'm going to use as the base, and then so I've obviously removed all the bark off it, and I'm going to do the same with this one. Really it's just handy in case you're going to glue it. If you want to use a bit of wood glue, it just makes it a bit easier to glue onto the exposed bit of wood rather than doing it onto the bark. And it takes it down slightly as well. Oh, someone going mad on a motorbike somewhere out on the road. So yeah, we're taking this back down to wood. So where I'm deciding to use this one as my cap, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to basically put a little bevel on there, and obviously that will go inside the just locate inside the container a bit better than keeping it flat. Something like that, ain't got to be nothing too special. And then what I'll do is I'm going to cut out the middle, and then obviously for now I might just attach a bit of put a bit of paracord on there or something like that, or I could put a little container. I mean, it's quite hot, it's quite where it's rotten in the middle there, so the knife's sort of almost going straight through. I've got to make too much effort with it. Just give it a little twist with the tip of the blade. Same again the other side. Camera picks it up, and there's a hole through there, nothing too much. I can either do one or two things. I can either just put a bit of bank line through there, maybe a tiny bit of paracord, or I could even put just a bit of wooden peg in there, so we'll see. Right, so there's the birch bark. Yeah, it might sort of be a bit hot. You can see how pliable it has come already. Oh, it's a bit hot obviously because of the water. Let's put on one of my gloves. Put on one of my leather gloves to show you. So then what we've got to do is obviously scrape all that inner bark out. And I'll probably just cut it across there and trim it up. It'll only be like a small container, but kind of give you a slightly an idea. You can see that scrapes out that inner bark. I'm going to leave it to soak for a few minutes and then come back to it. So there's the other bit of punk wood I've made. So what I'm going to do is just put this bit of uncharred cloth in there with it. Put the lid back on, and that'll go in my little pouch, my little possibles pouch, as it works with all my bits and pieces in there. What I'll been doing while I've been waiting for the water just to cool down slightly is obviously I cut the hole through, put a little bit of bank line through it, and then put a tiny little bung in the end now. So that will go as the handle, and then one will go as the bottom on the base. A bit of damage on it there. Still going to do a bit more scraping. What I'll probably do, I can probably lose that damage there when I coil it up. Unfortunately, what happened was that it was quite damaged on the outside there. So what I'm going to have to do now, being a little bit over ambitious now, because like if I want to use my disc and I want to wrap it around there, it's obviously going to be too small for it to wrap around there. So what I'm going to have to do now is choose another 2 discs, or the only other alternative is obviously to cut that down. So it's just as easy to cut another 2 discs rather than arse about trying to get a section in there that trying to take that down. Certainly not the bestest bit of birch bark that I've got there to obviously make a little container. I've got another little one there to go on the base. So what I'm doing there is just work out coiling it round, gauge an idea on the size. It's not the bestest, I'm afraid. Not sure if I can even cut it down some more. I might have to bin it, I reckon. Oh, I don't want to take it down any smaller than what it already is. Let's see if we can use that anyway. I'm not going to bother, folks. It's going to be a lot of mucking around with something this small. So unfortunately, you've seen a little bit of the early process, but I can't go through the whole process of making a container. I'll probably keep that other bit of punk wood somewhere. Even that ain't too great either, but I'll probably won't bother with the birch, but I'll probably keep the punk wood just to use for the charring and such like. But unfortunately, yeah, the quality of it ain't brilliant enough really. Be alright for having a quick ferro rod fire, or getting a fire going with a ferro rod I suppose, but sadly it's not come out quite how I wanted it to come out, so no worries, but it's still part of the process of learning, even if you don't come out with the end product. So when I was splitting some ash down, I managed to rescue this bit. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make another net needle, so I'm not going to start the project now making it. I'm going to leave that for another sort of shed project, I think. So it's almost got the shape there in regards to how flat it is, and it'll be just a matter of me shaping it up, and I'll probably make it a bit smaller than the one that I've already got. So yeah, I've got another one there to be working with. I might even be lucky enough to get two out of it, who knows. Right, this was supposed to be well, I originally started making it as a canoe spoon, but for some reason it's kind of metamorphosed into a sort of a, well, I don't know, kind of a normal spoon, as it were, the traditional shape of spoon. So I'll go with that. I think because I'm rushing it a little bit now. It's not finished. Right, so it chipped off. I've broken my bowl. Oh no! What a shyster. It was coming out alright in the end as well. So best thing to do with that is chuck it on the fire, I suppose. Or shave it up and use it as a toothpick. But either way, you know, still a learning curve. Darn! I've just used some fat bear that Dave's lent me. He said just give it a rub, like it's a leather care stuff used, but it's gorgeous. Smell it, it's absolutely gorgeous. Smells like Swedish summer. And I literally rubbed some over my little openal, and it's just sort of drawn the grain out ever so slightly and enhanced the pattern of it. I've taken off the bit of paracord. I'm going to make a bit of natural cordage just to go on it, because it looks quite sort of tribal, doesn't it, I suppose. So yeah, so what I'm going to do now is we were chatting a bit earlier. Dave's saying he made a wooden sheath for his knife years ago. So basically what I've done is I've used an auger to drill out so far, split it in half, and then what I'm going to do is for my openal I'm going to make a little sheath for my openal, so there's enough for there to stick out, and I'm literally going to use my spoon knife to obviously scoop it out to be able to, for me to bind it up with leather or whatever when I get it, when it's at a sensible diameter for the knife to sit in.
When you used to rinse her out snoop last night.
So that was my setup for last night. Swagman and such like. Obviously that's where I had my poncho set up yesterday when I had the Widowmaker come down. And you know, when you actually look up there, it's all sycamore and such like, everything's fresh. You know, there was no, you know, no indication at all that you know, that anything dead was going to come down on me. And then not only did that branch come down and obviously stabbed through my poncho, and then a short while later myself and David just chatted. Well, actually I was cutting the bit of wood to do the base for the wooden sheath that I'm making, and then the wind sort of got up again and another one fell on top of me poncho as well. So it was obviously a signal then, wasn't it, to move, which I was going to move anyway. I weren't going to stay there, and that's obviously hasten why I slept under there last night. So yeah, sort of like we're just having, you know, chewing the shit, still keeping our social distance. Dave's sort of still carving his canoe spoon that he started yesterday.
I didn't like, I had a little point on it, and every time I kept using it,
it kept stabbing
my hands. I'm just rounding it off, give it another sanding and an oil.
Yeah. So we're we're sort of just doing, you know, still crafting, doing bits and pieces. It's still quite early Sunday morning, probably about 9 o'clock-ish now or something like that. So yeah, so a little bit of an update of what happened from yesterday. I mean, you couldn't believe it. I mean, all week it's been absolutely gorgeous, and then come sort of Friday afternoon, you know, the wind sort of got up a little bit, and then it was forecast yesterday just for a little bit during the day, and you know, what happened. You know, it's just one of them things. But it's like, it's weird, but it's sort of like 2 occasions now where I've put, for all the years I've been coming out in the outdoors and doing all this sort of stuff, and I had the one from last year when I went out with Wilderness Nomad and John over to their spot, and literally we had like a branch come down, a little, it was almost like a twig, and it hit me on the, you know, hit me on the shoulder, hit John on the head, cut John's head open, and it was nothing, you know, it was absolutely nothing, and that really kind of hit a point home. And then obviously with the one yesterday, you know, it wasn't, you know, it was just a piece of dead ash, and it just literally come down and speared. And lucky enough, it was, you know, I say lucky enough, I wasn't under there, which is obviously lucky. But number two, the fact that it stabbed through the poncho about a foot from where my sleeping bag was. So, you know, thank you God. And at the moment, I'm alive to tell the tale. A bit like the film Final Destination, I reckon. I think sort of like the Grim Reaper's got it in for me or something. So, yeah, I'll come back to you later.
Bacon's cooking. I did drop it in there a couple of times.
That's alright though.
Yeah, it's all part and parcel of it, isn't it?
So ever so slowly, what I've done is, my Pathfinder pan, what I'm doing is I'm sort of treating it like cast iron, so it stops it from sticking, being that it's stainless. So what I've done, put some oil in it, stuck it on the fire, it all sort of flamed up, let it cool down, and then what I'll do is wipe it out, put some more fresh oil on it, and then put it back on the fire, so we get that non-stickiness to it, as opposed to almost like Teflon, as opposed to when it's new, you know, because that obviously sticks quite a bit. So I put the pan back on the fire, put some hot water in there just to rinse out the debris. So what I'm going to do now is, if anyone else wants to have a try this as well, is just obviously add some more oil, stick it back in the fire and let it go, let it do its thing again. Let the heat and the oil start to, obviously, what will eventually happen is obviously the oil will heat up and set a light to it, and then just let it go, let it burn out on its own accord. So the oil's starting to colour now, starting to darken, and I'm sure in no time it's going to flame up. Getting that nice colour on the pan now. Don't want to get too close, just in case the flame comes up. So there we go now, folks. There's the oil's caught light. We'll let that burn out now. Take it off the fire, allow it to cool down. A little bit of hot water in now, and just give it a wipe out. So you're kind of treating it like cast iron. So there's another little tip for you, if you, if any of you people have got stainless steel stuff and such like. Right, that folks is the end of the video. Had quite an exciting weekend. Lots of crafts going on if you got to the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed those little bits and pieces that were on there. Alright, so I'd like to thank Dave Friars for obviously inviting me over.
No worries, mate. It was a pleasure. It was great to come out, you know.
Yeah, good.
10 weeks of not being out in the woods for me anyway, you know what I mean?
Well, we kept our social distancing, didn't we?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? We kept, you know, we kept that at bay. You know, and we're in a confined area anyway, so there it is. So don't start all moaning about social, about the lockdown and everything else. All right. So as I say, thank you for watching. Don't forget to check out the description for links for merchandise, podcasts, Dave's bags and such like. All right, and also some of the cookware that we use. All right, with regards to the steel, you know, the cookware from TJA Metalworks. All right, so thanks for watching, folks. Please stay safe. Des Cat is signing out, and I'll see you on the flip side. Take care, folks. See you later.